and welcome. I'm Susan K. Cook, your host, and I'm thrilled to have two incredible people here today. They are wife and wife, Heather and Louise Reiss-James. Hello, Heather and Lou.
Hi. Hi, Susan. How are you?
It's nice to see you again.
It's good to see you too. How'd you like the glasses, girls?
Love it.
Fantastic. You are really the glasses queen.
They're cool, aren't they? And I'm quite sad that I didn't get to see Lou's alien ones because they would really go with what we're about to talk about.
They were Heather's alien ones, actually.
Okay, well, next time round, we'll be getting you to be wearing those or whatever it is you want to wear. So welcome both of you, and thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to set you out right away by asking you to tell the audience how you both met.
Oh, okay. Over a pool table.
Yep, that's about it. It was just over a pool table.
POOL table, over a pool table. It was that simple.
For our USA people, that was the 8-ball, over the 8-ball table.
But there's a little bit more to it than that.
There is.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about it. I mean, the pool table, yeah, but what happened around the pool table?
Well, what was around the pool table? Lots of crazy women having a really good time on a Friday night, like we used to do every second Friday night. This is down in Wellington. And Lou's got her own short version of how she ended up there, how we met.
All right. I'll take over from here. So what actually happened is on this particular Friday night, it was the very first night of what we became known as the Pool Girls night. And I made a deal with the universe. I said, if the email responses that I needed for finding out the address of where this place was happening came out before 5 o'clock, which was my home time, I would go. Because I was still very nervous of meeting other lesbians. I was still nervous of coming out and being who I was due to a lot of other sort of back history. And things happened that I got distracted and I wasn't at my desk when 5 o'clock happened. But as I came back at about 5:10, the message popped up that I had a email, and there it was. They were looking forward to seeing me, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I had to go because I'd made this pact, right? I get to the place where we were having pool. What was it called again?
The ballroom.
The ballroom. It was a place called the Ballroom, BALL room. And I go to the doors, and they've got this like saloon doors to like opening and closing. And I get there, and I go, no, I can't do this. And I get this like little shove, like somebody shoved me between the shoulder blades, and I end up going through the door. So I start going up the stairs, and then I chicken out, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. And I run downstairs out the door, and I get this like, and I get this like, you're going. It literally felt like that. So I went back upstairs again, going up the stairs, and can't get again a little bit further up, halfway up, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. My guts are churning. I'm sweating. So I run back down. I'm just so nervous. And it was like, I don't know if you ever know, Susan, you might know the saying where, where you get caught between your collar and your britches, you got your mum, somebody's got your hands like that, and they're literally frog marching you into a place. Well, that's what it felt like. It seriously felt like somebody gripped me on my britches and my collar and frog marched me up the stairs. By then my head popped up and I had a kind of hairstyle like this. And so, of course, everybody's looking for this short, spunky hairstyle that I described. And they're, oh, look, there's the new girl. And I was like, oh, shit, So anyway, that was how I finally got myself up there. But it was about halfway through the evening. I was at this one table and I was playing pool and surrounded by these girls. I look up and it was a Bon Jovi song.
Yep.
Yeah, it was Bon
Jovi or Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses. One of those two, because those were our favorite. And there was, I looked up and it was a real boom, boom, boom music. And I was like, oh, I love this song. And I literally across the way from me at the other table, there's this beautiful looking girl. I could only see her from the back. I saw short hair, black t-shirt, tight jeans on, and red boots that were like, the pointed ones that you sort of like
winkle pickers.
The winkle pickers, yeah. And she had her pool cue in her hand, and she was air guitar playing with it, and doing the one-footed hop across the room. And to me, it was just like, was like, I just had to meet her. But what really, really spoke to me, what really touched me, what really gave me this is somebody that I need to meet. This is somebody I cannot let out of my sight, was the golden aura, this light that just shone around her. And of course, my instinct was to turn around to everybody and go, who is she? I need to meet her. And everybody at the table said, no, you don't want to meet her. You don't want to meet her. Bad news, stay away from her. Well, bad news, I stayed away from her. No.
Well, that's so cool. I mean, she obviously knew exactly who to warm towards, because from my previous interview with Heather and knowing Heather, she has a bullshit detector. And I clearly knew that you weren't full of bullshit.
I have to say that in the beginning, I was still dealing with a lot of my own BS, and she picked up that BS thing was going off all the time, and she was like, deal with that. But yeah, no, we worked through a lot of stuff in our own lives growing up, in our own energetically and connectively as you do as partners. And but yeah.
So how long, Heather, was it before you proposed to Lou?
Oh, Susan, you are inferring that I, the unmarried, the marriage against no marriage, not Heather, type, proposed to Louise. Everyone knows my thoughts on marriage. And it was like, oh, no, why would you want to do that? You know, if two women want to get married, I don't have a problem, but that's not for me. I was one of those people. I just didn't believe in marriage. I just thought it was an institution. I just thought it was this thing that people did, and it just was more legal documents and more tying and da-da-da-da-da-da. So I was not interested in marriage. My darling Louise must have asked me a dozen times.
I didn't give up.
She just kept asking, and I go, okay.
What was the catalyst? How did she reel you in and get you to marry her?
Oh, did you win lotto?
No, not yet.
It wasn't that. It wasn't that then. It was a softening of my heart. It was me realizing that this was definitely the real thing, and that we had something special, and also understanding that when we got married, we weren't just getting humanly married. We were actually creating a divine connection that would actually strengthen and enhance everything that we were doing together. There was something else there. I got insight that there was something so much more to this, and I started to realize over a period of time that what it could be. Not fully until afterwards, but what it would really mean. So, yeah.
It was actually, if I can just interject here, the moment that it clicked for Heather was quite unique, because we were actually driving to go and visit her mum and dad, and she went, yeah, let's do it. And of course I was like, let's do what? Because I mean, like, I hadn't asked the question for at least 6 months.
And 2 weeks.
And I said, do what, sweetheart? She says, well, let's do it. Let's get married. I'm like, are you serious? Are you sure? All right, I'm telling mum and dad when we get there.
Oh, I love that story. Where did you actually get married? Because I know it's very difficult for many gay and lesbian people to find a country where you can be legally married. And when it means so much to a couple to be legally married, they often travel to different parts of the world so that they know that they have a piece of paper that says that they are legally together.
You're quite right. You're quite right. New Zealand was about the 15th country in the world, wasn't in the top 3, which was really disappointing. But considering our history of, suffragette history and women's rights and all our social history, it still was lagging. So, but we weren't interested. I wasn't interested at that time, so it didn't matter to me. So it was 2016. We got married here in Lake Taupo.
Well, not in Lake Taupo.
Not in the lake, though nearly a couple of times, on the banks of the lake, which is a great big beautiful vortexual energy body space, of water and a great body of energy. Yeah. So we invited just 25 friends and family, just people that were in our closer circle that we loved and cared about. We didn't, you know, spread it around the world. It was just a small group. My father gave me away.
Yeah.
And my father was had been diagnosed with illness, and I knew he didn't have much time either. And that might have actually had something to do in prompting me to hurry up and make up my bloody mind, you know, instead of just, you know, falling around. And so he gave me away, and we had family from Lou's side.
Yeah,
from
my
the UK.
my elder sister gave me away and sobbed her eyes out as she did it. I don't know why, but yeah.
Yeah, it was a great day, and we partied
Beautiful.
to 3 a.m. here at our little house. You've seen our house, just a tiny house, but we had so many people on the front deck. Mum and Dad said, well, there we are. We know that the deck's been well made and nobody's fallen off the side, and it's held everybody up. We partied and we had a great time. Everyone wore their coloured feathered boas, and we acknowledged our community, the gay and lesbian community, for the foresight and for the ability to really be tenacious and make sure that we were able to have legal marriage in this country.
Yeah.
We've celebrated that too, you know, to say, good, this is it. This is a human rights thing, and yay, we're having a great day. And everyone joined in that celebration with us.
And since then, we've just, each day has been a day where we've created and done things together as we've always done, as a unit, as two women who are in love and working together.
But it's stronger.
It is stronger.
So
Something's happened. Something's
something
knitted
happened.
in the energy. Something's connected within our own energies, our higher selves. It's joined us together at a much higher level. You could say it's folded in the timelines. It's connected the bloodlines from all the past lives and everything like that. There's something powerful's happened, and a lot of what we do is now got what we both feel is there's a different edge to it. There's more of a cutting edge to it. Yeah.
So the beauty of the fact is that not only are you legally married, but you also work with each other legally in the business line as well, which is a united front in itself. And I'm interested as well to know, after hearing this wonderful story about how you got married on the shores of Lake Taupo, I would be told by the Maoris, to say, I'm trying to learn how to do things properly in New Zealand and say them properly. Anyway.
Susan, don't worry. A lot of Kiwis haven't got a clue unfortunately, how to pronounce Maori, and I'm still a learner in many stages. I believe it is taupo, but a lot of the locals don't do it credit either.
So taupo.
Doing well.
But the other thing that I was actually leading to is, Lou, you actually spent, I think it was 3 years training to be a priest. Is that correct?
Yes, I went to, when I was in Africa, I belonged to a charismatic church, and I did 3 years in studying theology at their Bible college because my aim was to be a preacher. I wanted to be a pastor. And so I've got an associate degree of theology, of arts in my cupboard somewhere for theology.
So the beauty of that is, I was actually leading to this because both of you are doing these incredible tours, and they're discovery tours, which we will go on to. But I was wondering if you ever considered having the discovery tour, which would include you as a celebrant to be able to marry people, whether they gay couples, lesbian couples, or men and woman people, those sort of people. And if you'd ever sort of think about working in these tours with this incredible unification as well.
Wow, well, that's a great idea.
No, that's a great idea. We'll snaffle that. Thank you very much. I'll go and put that on the back burner.
It's to be honest, kind of something that I saw.
To be honest, I hadn't really considered it. I think it popped into my mind one time before when somebody was talking about celebrants of this, that, and the next thing, and I went, I could do that. And then it kind of like floated out went in through one ear and floated out the other ear, as my mom used to say to me.
That's what moms do. They're good at that. Tell me more about your plans, with both of you, your decision to actually consolidate here in New Zealand and actually move into Australia, and why?
Okay, well, Australia's been on our radar since I first took Louise there. It was a divine accident, or coincidence, or no coincidence. We're on our way to Johannesburg to meet Louise's mother in Cape Town back in 2013, and we were supposed to spend 30 minutes on a plane at Sydney Airport and then be on our way. Well, there was the worst lightning storm in 30 years, and so we ended up off the plane, and we had to sleep on the airport floor that night. There was no blankets, no hotels, no nothing, and it was like it was becoming a disaster until I woke up. I was awake all night really. 6 a.m, I said, let's just put our hand luggage somewhere or whatever we've got and just go into Darling Harbour, Sydney. And we went into Darling Harbour, we had lunch, we had a great time, we were exhausted, but we just enjoyed ourselves until the plane left that night at 7 o'clock. So it was a long time, you know. And Lou and I were sitting there eating, and I knew what she was going to say. She said, I love this place. I love this land. I could live here. And I hadn't heard her say that about anywhere.
It was the energy. There was something about it that I think awoke the song of my heart that I hadn't heard singing since I'd left Africa. And I think there's a...
I can, because within a week of me landing in Australia, I'd applied to stay there for forever. And I understand your feeling.
Yeah.
Because it's got that, it mightn't have the growly animals like lions and things. It's got the feeling.
There's definitely something there, yes.
There is definitely a feeling there. And Lou and I have done a few trips to Australia since, different parts. And recently, 2 trips, not, you know, far apart from each other. And on the second to last trip, we knew we were driving around in a 4-wheel camper, camping in forests and caravan parks and doing things. And we also did some Pleiadian activation training while we were there, nothing like mixing up work and play. And I just, and this was a different part of, this is not the city, it was a different part of Australia. It was sort of like the hinterland areas between Brisbane and Coffs Casino. And I just knew she was going to fall in love even more. I just knew it, because I was falling in love even more, even though I'd spent nearly 10 years in Sydney in the 80s. And we both just went, we've got to do it.
Yeah.
So we left a whole lot of our stuff with some friends. We basically emptied out our suitcases and said, here, you can have the camping gear. This means we're coming back to live. And we just knew it, and we spoke to the guys. When we say the guys, it's the masters, the energies, the divine
our energetic
guidance, energetic team, and said, what's going on? They said, well, we've been wanting you to make a move for a while now, and this land is ready.
Yeah.
So what we see with Australia is that the people are ready. The land is ready. There's something happening with the land. There's a whole lot of opening, and this is nothing to do with the Australian government or data. Forget about that. This is about the real people, the people on the land who are awakened, who are looking for things, looking for answers and wanting to know what's going on. And we've met a bunch of people like that, and we know there's a lot more as well. And it just feels so right, Susan. We love New Zealand. New Zealand's our place too. But this is a move that we need to make, and we're going to do it. And it's scaring the crap out of us sometimes, because we've got all the organising to do. The human part of it's like, oh my goodness, it's daunting.
It is. It's like, you know, you've got to look at the practicalities. You know, you've got to find somewhere to live. You've got to make sure you've got this sorted out and that sorted out, you know. So come on, universe, let's get in line here.
So there's a lot of trust opening up and happening with this, but it just feels so damn right.
It does.
And also the other thing is, if we are going into a mini ice age, which I do believe we are, I've seen it, felt it, and you know, that it's the cold snaps. It's going to get much colder where we are here, and we're not really cold weather people.
I hear you there as well. It's one of the reasons why I left Heathrow at -6 in January last year and arrived on the hottest recorded day in 50 years in Brisbane. So it was still good.
Yeah.
When you speak about your team, I understand about your team, but to put it out there to your public, or to the people who are actually listening to us having a chat now, could you please break down and actually explain who your team are?
Well, our team are, in particular, the main mentor or gatekeeper for Louise is an energy called Safita, and his major incarnation that would be well known to humanity is the Saint Germain energy. Saint Germain, Adama Saint Germain, we know him as Safita, and there's a reason that he introduced us himself or allowed himself to grow into that space of being, which is another story, another day. But he is one of our main men, so to speak. We hang out with the boys a lot, I can tell you. For a couple of gay girls, we hang out with the boys a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a straight girl and I hang out with the guys too, but I also hang out with the gays. So it's good.
That's great. Great. So, and I'll let Lou.
Yeah, and I think, the team is also consists of, I also bring through an energy, as I alluded to in one of our other discussions, by the name of Katumi Lal Singh. Again, a great teacher. I also have Kuan Yin and Archangel Michael and the Great Council of Many Councils, which envelops a huge spectrum of beings, the Brotherhood of Light, the White Brotherhood, the different circles, councils, Palladian, Arcturian, Zeta, Grey. They've got, there's some of the species I haven't even realized what their names are. I haven't been able to find out what their names are, but I see them when I go into this. When I go into the Council of Many Council place, when they start to speak through to me, they've got groups that call themselves the engineers, the original ones, the first ones, that they've been there before there was form on this planet, so to speak. So this is our team, and it's a higher consciousness team. It's a higher it's not just us connecting to our higher selves or guides or people that have passed over from the others and are still around, like our grandparents, etc., etc. And there's nothing wrong with people that do that. It's just not what I do. It's not what we do. We tend to go find that the people that we connect with are the ascended masters, are the high angelics, the archangels, are the great councils.
Yeah, and just to clarify too, Louise is talking about her being in semi-trance or trance channel when she's bringing this through. That's part of her gifting. It's part of what she was trained, basically, I believe, from a child. She was working with the energies, which was some of her adventures in the sandpit and et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, good old Sandy.
Yeah. And things like that. So, and she's been, so that started in about 2008 for us together. That started coming through together with her trance channeling gifts. And, depending on the occasion, how deep it is she needs to go. And quite often she will remember nothing. She'll have no deposits of memory of what's been said or spoken because she's completely stepped aside, so to speak, and the driver, and she starts flicking like that when it's about to happen, the driver of the vehicle, which is a trusted friend and partner. These energies are all tested, don't you worry about that, before we allow them access into Lou's beautiful vessel. And the other one is the Palladian mentor Platorans that I mentioned previously. When I was being interviewed, he's wonderful energy of the Palladian Medical Council and works with the healing arts, and we've got another couple of Palladians that we work with there too. So it depends on what's needed and what's happened. And Lou does, when she does her personal sessions for people, she'll ask if there's anyone in particular they want to speak to, and quite often people will leave it open to that which is for their highest
for the highest good.
So Lou's a multi-channel.
When you talk about and we understand, Lou, that you're a very amazing receptor, the reflection from all of these entities or these powerful forces are what makes you who you are. I'm intrigued to know, how do they channel to you, Heather?
Well, various ways. I don't do what Lou does. but I help to ground the energy and to sort of create if you can imagine a four-sided pyramid that's like also like a net over both of us, or the whole house, or the whole room, or the whole hall, depending on where we are. That's part of my role, is to filter and ground the energy and to make sure that Lou is supported in her journey of channeling, that she's safe. She's also got an energetic gatekeeper, that's Safida, but my role is as her grounder. As a transmitter myself personally, I do not particularly access the energies the way Lou does, and nor do I really want to, though I have brought through Katumi a little bit before. That's been a bit of fun, but I tend to transmit my own higher self energy, and whom I know as Nardiana, the Nardiana energy, which is also a group, I do believe. So I tend to transmit my higher self energy, and that's to varying degrees depending on what's needed and what happens. The guys have actually shown me, Safida, and when we say the guys, we are talking about the Ascended Master Safida and Katumi and Kuan Yin. Safida has actually shown me in a lucid interdimensional dream experience what it is like when Lou channels him, and that was in 2011. And I woke up the next day and I went, oh my God, Louise. I was bowing down to her. I was shown what happens and how it feels and what's going on, and I was shown that for a reason.
Yeah.
And Lou's been shown and given insight to me, some of the things that I do too, with some of my giftings as a mentor and teacher and what I bring through. So it's been interesting, and it's continuing to grow. If I want to speak to Safida or Katumi, I will sit quiet and meditate. If I don't want to do it via Louise, yes, of course, I do have it on tap to a certain degree. We understand that. But I've got to learn also to utilise my own transmitter, my own intuition, my own meditation, and I do that and connect with them and get very clear messages at times.
Yeah, so the wonderful thing about the two of you is that you joined at the hip, but you're also separate, and each one of you have your power and your teaching separately, and then when you decide to come together, it's very, very powerful. When you're actually going out on your tours, and please, I'd love for you to actually say your website name and where people can find you for your most recent tour that you're going to be taking people on. But when you do this, do you actually use your healing as part of the process of your tour?
When you say use my healing, Susan, are you talking about the energy healing modality?
Yes. Yes, I am.
In a sense, we do. In a sense, we do. We don't advertise this as an energy healing modality tour, but it is wellness travel. It is wellness tourism, so to speak, because it's meditation, it's connection to Gaia, to our beautiful planet, it's connection to the other energies that will assist us on our journey. It's connection to each other as a group. So yes, healing does take place. And it may not be in the conventional way that Louise and I would run a 2-day workshop, but healing will and does take place. In fact, we're also open, and I'm open also during that time to offer healing. Yeah. And when I say offer healing, help facilitate somebody else's healing during that tour. Absolutely, and it will.
I mean, like when we've done other sacred site tours, we have had people sort of come connect to us. Maybe we've done a workshop, or we've had a lesson where the Ascended Masters have come through and spoken. We then have gone to a sacred site and had an experience there, and they've come back and they've said, "This is what I've realized. This is what I've come to see as happening through what's gone on today. I need help." And that's where we will sort of like step in. I mean, if anybody's interested to go and have a look at what we're doing currently, all they need to do is go to tourgaia.com and then just click on the link button to go to the Africa tour that we're doing in September. And they will see that this is not an ordinary thing that we're doing. I will be present. There will be transmissions coming through. The energies, the ascended masters, the energies that I will transmit and bring messages through will be able to connect into the people that are on that tour. And, you know, the beautiful thing is it's not just going to be, oh, we're going to go to the ruins, you know, Great Zimbabwe ruins, and that's it, switch on, switch off. If, for argument's sake, Savita comes through, he tends to sit down and he will communicate and he'll talk and he'll say, well, I feel like we should have some dinner now. And then he'll sit with you through dinner. And I'm sort of like in the back seat going, I'm over here. Does anybody miss me? You know, and don't get me wrong. I don't think that's, you know, I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a negative thing. It's just like, I just love the way that he talks with people.
Safida and Katumi also will definitely be present.
Absolutely fantastic. So that is tourgaia.com. Tourgaia. You'll be able to find them on that. And before we wind down, my beautiful ladies, your workshops, can you give the audience the name of your workshops and where they can actually find the booking for your workshops and when the next one's going to happen?
Okay, well, we've got workshops coming up. When is this being released? Yes, we've got Return to Mastery, and we've gone Learn or Unlocking the Secrets to Channeling. That's on March the 16th, 17th here in New Zealand. There's not going to be a lot more possibly before we head off to Australia. So I encourage you to, you know, if you're interested to get on board with that. And on March the 9th and 10th, we are doing 2 days of the Palladian Activation Energy Modality training. We're going to assist people to access that modality and work with clients and friends. Booking form, it is cosmic.com.
Absolutely.
It is. I love that name. It's amazing. It is cosmic.com.
And if I could interject, if what we have done for people who can't get to our workshops, but they desperately know that this is something that they need, that they want to activate in their lives, reach out to us, and we do personal one-on-one sessions, and we can talk about that.
Oh, and we've got packages too. We've got the Take Action package with self-mastery. So you can do stuff online, guys, either in a group or one-on-one or two-on-one. So watch out for that.
And they'll find all of that on the website.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, Heather and Lou. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me and with everybody else. It's great, so kind of you to take time out of your very busy schedules, because I know you are very popular and very busy. So you'll find my 2 beautiful friends, Lou and Heather Reiss-James, on itiscosmic.com, and they are fascinating, and they are absolutely worth every second of your time with them. So thank you so much, Lou and Heather and Lou. I love you both.
Oh, I love you too, Susan. Thank you.
Thank you. And I wish you so much happiness and a lot of wonderful experiences in Australia when you get there. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, pleasure. This is Susan K. Cook. I'm saying goodbye, and I'll leave it up to my beautiful ladies to say goodbye to you all by themselves, because they can.
Well, this is Louise.
And this is Heather.
Saying goodbye. See you soon.
See you soon. And thank you so much for watching.
Remember, it is cosmic.com.
It is.